Nation was looking quite embarrassed. I think all front bench of the Labour Party was looking embarrassed. I think Rishi nailed him. Like you say, he brought up his terrible track record when he was the Director of Public Prosecutions. It's shameful. Like you say, Dan, the ads from last week were quite shameful. I'm not bothered, actually, because it does us a favour. It makes him look like a child. It makes him look like a playground bully as well. And it's not working.
This useless Labour government are doing the impossible. They're actually making things worse. They really are. Look who we've got running the country at the moment.
In a live TV debate, Anderson pushed Starmer into a corner, forcing him to answer for his past decisions and shifting policies. The millions of viewers watched, and it became clear that Starmer was struggling, as he was not just avoiding tough questions in a polite political debate.
They're not that happy with you lot being there. They don't really like it. You know, every time you get up and ask them awkward questions, like your questions to Angela Rayner about Islamophobia and the definition of it, you know, just ridiculous moments where you can see them kind of sneering and kind of holding their noses, can't you?
Well, they are. I mean, they're pretty clueless at the moment, Mark. Every time we ask a question, we get a non-answer. They've sort of banned us from standing or sitting on any select committees as well. They don't want scrutiny. They're trying to shut us down in the media as well. This is a very, very poor government, by the way, Mike. Their majority is built on sand, and we've seen it already, the sleaze and the corruption.
Free gear Keir. Or never hear Keir.
Anderson had come fully prepared. He was not going to let steamer dodge questions or hide behind well-crafted answers. Why was this moment so significant? It showed the difference between politicians who could defend their actions and those who simply change their views depending on what's popular. It raised serious questions about Starmer's ability to lead, and perhaps most importantly, it set a new standard for how politicians should be held accountable from the moment the cameras started rolling.
This useless Labour government are doing the impossible. They're actually making things worse. They really are. Look who we've got running the country at the moment. Free gear Keir. Or never hear Keir. We've got Rachel from Accounts. We know her, don't we? Angela Rayner, the no-brainer. You got Mad Miliband, that net zero fanatic. And let's not forget our very own mastermind, David Lammy. He's a proper chopper, isn't he? You know what, here at Reform UK, we've got Nigel Farage, Richard Tice, Rupert Lowe, all successful businessmen and politicians. We've got Zia Youssef and Nick Candy, again, in the back room, all successful businessmen.
This worthless Labour government is doing the impossible. They're really making things worse. They truly are. Look who we've got running the nation at the moment. Free gear. Kay or never hear Keir. We got Rachel from Accounts. We know her. Don't. We, Angela Rayner, the no-brainer. You got furious, Millie. Ban that net zero zealot. And let's not forget our very own mastermind. David Lammy, he's a real share, isn't he? You know what? Here at Reform UK, we've got Nigel Farage, Richard Tye, the lowly, all-successful business people.
Yeah, I mean, these are, I've said it before, Mike, these people in Labour Party, they are prolific sponges, scroungers. That's what they are, you know. It's not enough for us MPs to live off the taxpayer, which we do. We live a pretty decent life, a good salary. We get our expenses, we get our accommodation paid for in London. That's not enough for Sir Keir. He wants even more. I think it's over £100,000 he's sponged off people. He's scrounged off people over the past 4 or 5 years. And quite frankly, when little old lady, a pensioner in my neck of the woods, looks at this, who's just had 300 quid stolen off her, and she's going to have to put a couple of blankets wrapped around her during this winter period. She's looking at kids going to Arsenal, hospitality. Mrs. is getting free clothes, he's getting free glasses. It's unbelievable. They are scroungers. They should give it back.
It really is incredible. And on the front page of the Times today, it says that they're actually lying about the economy because there's now £10 billion more in the budget.
Anderson soon pointed out that Labour had spent years opposing Brexit, confusing people, and making promises they never followed through on. The true issue was obvious. Was Starmer a leader who had solid values, or was he simply someone who altered his stance based on what was popular?
must be either BAME, LGBT or disabled. So basically, if you are a straight white man without a disability, you're not welcome as part of the Labour Party anymore.
I was going to say I was shocked, Dan, but this has happened before within the Labour Party. I think they did it at a conference a few years back when I was in the Labour Party. I mean, what sort of message does it send out to young white working class boys who are interested in a career in politics, who want to get involved with a political party? They're basically sticking two fingers up to young men, to people like me, and saying you're not welcome. It's shocking in this day and age. This is the Labour Party, which was born on the backs of people like me.
Meantime, they are trying to describe Superwoman Suala, our brilliant Home Secretary, as a racist bigot. Surely, actually, if there's anyone who is practising racism, discrimination, bigotry, it's these woke folk in the Labour Party.
I had a long chat today with Suella, and we touched on this racism slur. It's absolutely disgusting.
Then came the topic of Jeremy Corbyn. This was a big issue because during Corbyn's leadership, Labour had become more radical, pushing for policies that many voters saw as extreme. At the time, Starmer had stood by Corbyn, defending him and his leadership. But now that Corbyn had become unpopular, Starmer was acting as if he had never really supported him.
And Walker even felt that he had to justify the decision of having you on the show. And it does show you that these people are not used to the media actually having a range of views.
Well, I'll say to Dan, I got on really well with Dan, surprisingly enough, and I would say to Dan, welcome to my world, because this is a daily occurrence, Dan. This is the kinder, gentler politics, the Be Kind Brigade. If you disagree with anything they say, they immediately on social media pile on you and call you all sorts of horrible names. Their language is vile. The threat, they try and intimidate you, they try and drive you up. You've seen it yourself, and you've seen this many times on Twitter. It actually does people like me a favour, because the normal, sensible people out there watching this, they're not commenting, they're not saying anything. They're saying, my goodness, look at the left. When you click on these profiles of these nutters that are saying these horrible things, it's a Jeremy Corbyn picture. It's
EU flag.
Don't blame me, I voted Remain.
David Lammy Anderson questioned Starmer, a previous staunch ally of Corbyn, about his trustworthiness among voters. Anderson questioned whether Starmer was actually independent or attempting to alter history. Starmer struggled, losing his serene appearance and confidence. He squirmed uneasily in his seat and hesitated before speaking.
We've also got now Elon Musk and President. and President Trump as friends of Nigel. All right. But who do Labour have speaking out for them? Carol Vorderman and David Lammy.
Anderson's questioning of Starmer, who had previously supported Corbyn and pushed for a second Brexit referendum, revealed that he was not prepared for this type of questioning. Anderson questioned why Starmer now acts as if he hasn't supported Corbyn and pushed for a second referendum, highlighting his lack of space to talk in broad terms.
Parliament for Ashfield. He is Deputy Chairman of the Conservative Party. He's also a GB News presenter on Friday evenings. And Lee joins me down the line from his constituency. Lee, not for the first time, you have caused total and utter outrage. I listened to the Today programme on the BBC. They were barely able to control themselves because you've told illegal immigrants to F off back to France if they don't like going on the barges, the Bibi Stockholm, in Portland Harbour. Lee, you know, all of us at times in life go a bit too far, and we need to admit perhaps we've made a bit of a mistake. Are you apologising for the words you've uttered?
No.
Do you not think the use of the F word in this context was perhaps bad taste?
No, I'll tell you what it was, Nigel. It's born out of frustration. It's born out of me being absolutely furious. Not just me that's being furious, my constituents and millions of people up and down the country, and I guess including yourself in this as well. They are furious the fact that these, and I hate the word asylum seekers because they're not. They're illegal economic migrants that are coming over.
The Labour leader's usual strategy of staying vague was not working, and he had to confront contradictions in his record. Social media exploded with reactions, with some cheering Anderson for holding a powerful politician accountable, while others were concerned about his poor performance in the interview, revealing serious leadership weaknesses.
Of my stomach when these lefty lawyers, the charities, the human rights campaigners saying it's not good enough. And like I say, if it's not good enough, then he should go back to France. In stronger words.
In stronger words. No, absolutely. Now, Keir Calais say that many of these people have been through traumatic journeys across the Mediterranean and perhaps across the English Channel too, and therefore they can't go on the barge because they have a fear of water. Do you not have some sympathy for the Keir Calais argument?
No, none at all, Niles. I've met these people that work for Keir Calais. Look, if they've got a fear of water, what the hell are they doing getting on a rubber dinghy, 50 to a rubber dinghy and crossing the Channel, the most dangerous shipping lane in the world? If anybody believes that argument that they're scared of water, then quite frankly they need carting off somewhere.
Lee, we've got you as a party deputy chairman. We've got the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman. We've got lots of tough talk. And yet, let's be frank, let's be honest, it's your government, which you've been there in the Commons since 2019. You have overseen this total failure, and you may use the F word.
The interview with Anderson, a former Prime Minister of Malaysia, was met with concern among Labour supporters who feared he might struggle to defend his record in debates against political opponents like Rishi Sunak. This victory was seen as a significant win, as Anderson demonstrated that Starmer's leadership was built on shifting positions rather than firm principles. This interview may have marked a turning point, as people are becoming tired of politicians who avoid answering questions and prefer direct, honest conversations. Anderson's performance might change the way political interviews are done, leading to more leaders being forced to be honest about their records. This was a wake-up call for Starmer, who needs to prepare better, have stronger answers, and prove his conviction in leading.
I'm going to sit here and make excuses to anyone. This is out of control. We're in power at the moment. I'm as you say, the deputy chair of the Conservative Party. We're in government, and we have failed on this. There's no doubt about it. We said we're going to fix it. It is a failure. Look, we have got policies in place, and I know it's a bit hard for the British public at the moment to actually understand what we're trying to do with the Rwanda flights. And the changing legislation, the illegal migration bill, and it seems very slow, it's cumbersome. We're up against it, Nigel, let's be honest. We've got the lefty lawyers, we've got the human rights campaigners, we've got the charities, everything's against us. But no, I'm not making excuses, it's slowing us down. If the whole of Parliament was behind us in this, I'm sure this would have got through by now. But look, I'm not going to sit here, Nigel, and make excuses. It makes me sick every time I see a boat come across the Channel. It makes me furious when I see them put in hotels and on barges. And I've been contacted tonight by an old soldier that served in Ireland in the 70s.
In an interview, politicians face increasing scrutiny and questioning, with Starmer's credibility being questioned more than ever before. Anderson, a confident leader, demonstrated the importance of political accountability. The question now is whether other politicians can handle this new level of scrutiny, or if more struggle under pressure, like Starmer did.
It's very funny, this is, because we're a year away from a general election. Slippery Starmer and people like Rachel Reeves are saying all the right things, they sound almost conservative in some of the policies they come out with, but when it comes to the crunch, these are the people, Dan, that are continually saying that rich people, business owners, entrepreneurs are the nasty, evil people of this country. We're going to put wealth taxes on them. We're going to tax them more. But these are the wealth creators. These are the people that create the jobs. These are the people that put money in people's pockets. And all of a sudden, the Labour Party are turning around after saying all this stuff in the past and saying that they are the party of business. They're not the party of business. Any rich person in this country, and again, I reiterate that the rich people who own the businesses are creating the wealth in this country. They put money in our pockets. These are the people that the Labour Party are going to attack. They think it's clever. It's not clever. We need these people to stay in this country and create this wealth which generates all this income for us.
Hasn't been a good week for Labour, has it, with the introduction of the ULEZ expansion in London.